So basically what happens when we create the structure, let's say that this is your memory block, and okay, so let's say this is your memory block, and in our structure we have integer, rule, then char, name, and I'm just taking 5, and float, marks. Okay, now what happens guys, when you define this structure. Okay, before that, tell me first thing, when you declare multiple variables, how all the variables take place in the memory?
randomly.
Random, perfect. So random variable, random place. Okay, if it's array, in that case,
Consecutive basis.
consecutive, right? Yes, consecutive. So similarly, when you create the structure, this type of structure, at that time it will calculate the total size of the structure, and this can be the question, like if I give the name to this structure S1, this is my struct student and I have given the S1. Now it can be the question, what is the size of the S1? What is the size of the S1? So you need to calculate. How to calculate? First tell me the roll number. How much bytes it will occupy guys?
2 bytes.
2 bytes. Okay. Then this name
5.
5 plus 5. And this marks
4.
4. Okay. Total
11.
11. It means what? It means what? That the size of this S1 is 11 bytes and it requires 11 consecutive locations. 11 consecutive locations. So to store the data of S1, I required 11 locations. If I consider each block 1 byte in that case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 और आगे हम कंसिडर कर लेते हैं, ठीक है, कि ऐसा कुछ होगा आगे. ओके, यहाँ पे कर लेते हैं. Okay, now 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So, my this portion, this whole first row will be assigned to S1. So, ये मेरा हो गया S1 पूरा. So all the details will be stored in this location. Understood guys?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the concept. Now what happens? Because as you can see that this integer occupies 2, then we need 5, then 4 and सबका data type भी अलग अलग है. In that case, it might be possible. In that case, for example, see, integer roll number 2 bytes. Okay, so this is the place I stored the roll number. Now for the name, there are 5. I have already reserved 3, 4, 5 bytes. But now if I'm storing only 3 bytes, for example, I'm just giving the example. But when I'm actually storing the data, I am using only these 3 locations. In that case, this portion will be blank, right? This will remain empty, right? Are you getting me?
Yes, ma'am.
So this portion will remain empty. These two blocks will remain empty. And then we will add the marks. It has to start from this portion. Will occupy 4. So now what happens? This portion, particularly this area, this type of blank area creates the problem. This type of blank area creates the problem. Not always necessary, but yeah, in certain cases it might be possible that it creates the problem. So to resolve this type of issues, we have a concept of pointers that we will learn later on, but just keep in mind that to solve such type of issues we have a concept of pointers. But suppose if we are not using the pointers, so we have multiple solutions. What are the solutions? First, you can use flush all function. If it does not work, you can use fflush and in the bracket stdin. If even it does not work, you can use the concept of dummy variable. So either of these three will work, but if does not work, in that case we will use the pointers, and once we will learn the use of pointers, we will never use these concepts. All this for the temporary purpose. So in this program which we are discussing these days, which we discussed yesterday, so in that we have used the dummy variable. What is the meaning of dummy variable? The meaning of the dummy variable is, what I want to do, I am asking the user to enter the marks, right? So here I have the printf statement, enter marks, right? And according to the structure definition, I am storing this marks in a float and s of I dot marks, right? But because it is not asking me, compiler is not asking me to enter the data, so here we will use the concept of the dummy variable. What you can do, you can take one temporary variable. Let's say I am giving the name float temp. And now what will I do? Instead of writing this, I will store my data, my marks in the temp variable. And then what I will do, I will assign that marks in my original location. So this is the concept of dummy variable, and whenever compiler skip such type of inputs, in that case you can use this. Got it, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.